when I was younger, I used to play on a tournament paintball team, which is fun. And then back then, we would play StarCraft, the original StarCraft. And then many, many years later, StarCraft 2 came out. It took forever. And before, me and my friends and I, before we even play StarCraft, we would play Warcraft 2, I believe, where you'd get a ballista and shoot giant arrows. And then there was another game where we had orcs or ogres that you would bloodlust. I think that was Warcraft 2. So that was just fun. And we would always have LAN parties and do that stuff, and we'd play Quake and etc. The first thing we played was Doom 2 on BBS before the internet existed. It was awesome. The guy that learned to use mouse first just killed everyone's ass because we were always using Gravis mouse pads and like scroll right, scroll left, and the dude that's just like plah, he's gonna win, right? And then you cheat too. Like if you strafed sideways against the wall, it would make you run faster. Like it would take the energy of strafing against the wall and then turn it into vertical energy instead of horizontal. I guess it would be lateral and forward. So, and then, I got into Team Fortress 2 and DayZ, which was amazing back when it was a mod, and League of Legends, which is fucking horrible cancer, just the goddamn worst. What else? Yeah, so StarCraft 2, I had like 20,000 wins. So I wasted like a couple man years of life playing that game. Got a Predator icon. It means you get a Predator icon, you have to have 1,000 wins on Zerg, Protoss, Terran, and random. So it's 4,000 wins. You only win half your games because of the matchmaking system. So that's 8,000 games. And the games are average about 20 minutes each. So it's 8,000 times 20 minutes, which is like 8,000 divided by 3 hours. It's fucking, 2,800 hours or something. So that's, there's only 2,000 hours in a year, right? 40-hour week, 50 weeks. That's 2,000. So that's, a good man year, at least, of just fucking wasted life, which is not so good. And I also blew a lot of time. Man, yeah, but you know what? You're gonna enjoy anything you're good at, man. So, I would have had more fun doing live streams. I would have had more fun going out to clubs, which I guess I also did at the time. Like I used to also go out every night, which isn't that good for your health, believe it or not. So I haven't drank in like a year and a half, maybe now. Maybe more. I don't know. Hard to keep track. Working so hard, time begins to like blend, because I wake up and I work until I'm too tired and I go to sleep. And unfortunately, some of what I do is tweet to these ungrateful, retarded fucks, and I shouldn't do that. I should stop. Really, should stop tweeting. It's just a hard habit to break. I would be better off finishing the Scivive book than tweeting. I would be better off, doing goddamn near anything. But then interesting shit happens. You're like, oh, the price went up 40%. Oh, this needs to suck a day or two out of my life now. Well, why? Okay, so the price went up 40%. Cool. Your bags got more valuable. How did the tweeting help, right? Fuck tweeting. It's just, I guess to me, now I've cut it down. I used to do it a lot more. I need to cut that shit to zero, basically. I'm not maximally productive as a human being, giving away free knowledge to only 50,000 people when I could change my tactics and reach millions. 50,000 is a pitifully small number in the real world. It's gigantic in crypto, pitifully comedically small in the real world. And that is the scale. The ideas that I have are of a quality and are presented in a nature that I should be speaking to millions and not just thousands, because I can improve a lot of people's lives. So I need to stop doing what's easy and start doing what's hard. And so whenever you're thinking about what you should do in life, the world is supply and demand. And what is the supply of tweets? There's too many goddamn tweets. So what is your payoff on tweets? Fucking low. If you were the only guy tweeting, you'd do pretty well, right? So what should you do? You should do the things that will be rewarded maximally because they're things that very few other people can do or want to do, and you can, right? So how many people are qualified to have this level of discourse about cryptocurrencies? 30, 40, maybe. I mean, if you had to have someone go in front of Congress to defend crypto, it's going to be like Andreas, Trace Meyer, or me. Who else? Like, nah, that's like it, right? So, who?
Craig Wright.
No, Craig wrong.
Craig Wright.
Yeah. So,
About my
yeah.
cognitive nerves.
So I think for me, crypto is nice. Making more money is nice, but really more money doesn't actually change my life. Like I already have a lot of the best shit. Like it doesn't really change my life much. What will change my life is better medical technology, right? So I need better medicine in the world, and everything needs to point to that direction. I'm fucking old now. Like this medicine needs to get started going 20 years before I need it. Well, that's fucking now. Like that shit needs to start now, or 20 years from now when I need it. Boy, it ain't gonna be ready, and then I'm gonna be dead like Steve Jobs. And I don't want to
The
trade places with
problem,
Steve Jobs.
the problem with that is in the pharmaceutical industry, they're more focused on treatments rather than
Yeah.
cures, because that's their way of
Well,
capitalizing.
it's the reason for that is because it's not because they're evil cocksuckers trying to milk you for money. Although, if that were easier, I would accuse them of that. It's because reality's hard. Reality is really, really hard. And so in computing, you have what's called Moore's law, where you get twice the transistors every year or two. About every 2 years, you get twice the transistors for the same money. Notice that doesn't say a fucking thing about speed, okay? Because things aren't really getting faster. Not at any rate that's interesting. Um, you have the opposite of that in pharmaceuticals. It's called Eroom's law, which is Moore's backwards, and it means that for the same amount of money, you'll get less and less drugs approved. And so all the low-hanging fruit of novel chemicals that can do cool things is kind of picked, and everything that is the next level is harder. Gene therapy is harder. Things that take 20 years before you can get to market are harder. Getting a pharmaceutical market's already hard enough. It takes 10 fucking years. 15 feels like a better number, but I'm just going to say 10. It takes a really long time to get a drug approved and through human clinical trials for human use, unless you have a weird rare disease, and then you can get like an exemption. Um, so we need more of that. We need more of those things that have longer time horizons. I mean, I tell people, if you're going to die, very likely, and you're going to die of the same shit that killed everyone in your family tree. And there's thousands, if not millions, of entities in your family tree who are dead. And what did they die of? Well, let's just say, let's pull a number out of our ass that's current and just assume it applied to the past, which, probably didn't, but at least this will matter for the current. You're 40% likely to die of heart disease, you're 40% likely to die of cancer, on average. That's 80%. If you cure heart disease, you'll only live 3 years longer. What? But everyone thinks it's 20. Yeah, I thought it was 22. The reason it's not is because if we cure that shit, the same things that caused it just cause something else instead. So when you go to the hospital and you go to the cancer wing, it's all old people. Why? Because the vast majority of people that get cancer got it because they're old. If you go to the heart disease wing, it's all old people. Why? Because the vast majority of heart attack victims got the heart attacks because age, right? So if you get rid of heart attacks, you get rid of cancer, both, which kill 80% of everyone. People live on average 7 years longer. Well, that's not a lot of fucking years. Fuck 7 years. Turtles live 200 years. Tortoises. Lobsters live 200 years. Clams live 500 years. There's immortal jellyfish. Aspen trees live thousands of fucking years. There's a lot of shit that stays alive for a really long fucking time. Well, we need to be one of those things. It's a tragedy that the most effective, useful people that create new industries, the guy that invented the transistor, the guy that discovered electricity, the guy that invented computing, these fuckers are all dead now because they died of age. That is terrible and horrible for progress. That's the worst thing that could be happening to mankind, is that people die after a short burst of productivity in their last 10 or 20 years of life, back then when you die at 40 or 50, you know, they just fucking disappear. And then there's something else people don't realize is even if we cure cancer and we cure heart disease, once you reach a certain age, you're more likely to become crazy than you are to die. And so the rate at which you will get Alzheimer's exceeds the rate at which you will die. And so even if we make these huge interventions in the physical things, we still have to do the mental thing, which is also a physical thing. But my point is that there's a lot of curing that we need to be doing, and too many people are working on rate my sandwich apps or crypto or a bunch of other shit that just ain't healing anybody. Now, I do like these things that could help medicine, right? So we have more efficient systems, more efficient economies, better material science, better computing science, better imagery. That shit all is going to give those people better tools to kick the ass that they need to kick. In the end, someone needs to work on the meat. We are the meat. There ain't going to be no mind uploading. Why is there no mind uploading? Because you think your memories run on the meat. What you don't realize is your memory is the meat. And the only way you can move the memory is to create new meat identical to the old meat, which is basically a Star Trek replicator machine. And that shit doesn't exist, right? So since we don't have replicator machines, you can't make physical copies of people's brains, you're not going to be able to exfiltrate data. It will not fucking happen. The meat is the memory. And that's this huge misconception that transhumanists have, that everything's going to be okay because we have technological progress. Well, you know what? You don't really have meat progress. Your meat progress sucks balls. You've been compressing morbidity and increasing life expectancy, but lifespan hasn't moved a fucking day. 122 is the maximum any human being has ever lived. Jean Calmet. Funny story about her. She got a reverse mortgage on her house at like 80. A reverse mortgage is where you pay someone until they die and then you get their house. And this fucking guy just happened to pay a woman who lived longer than any other human ever. So he got the absolute maximum fucked on a reverse mortgage ever. Like a philosopher named Voltaire actually got a reverse mortgage too. You know, he would tell people that he was about ready to die and he would try and look extra sick and shit like, you know, I just gonna try and enjoy my last few years of life. You know, people would fucking get the reverse mortgage to him and then he just, you know, became healthy again. A new burst of energy.
It was better than ever.
Yeah. So we need more research. We need more science. I tell people to go to SENS.org, Strategies for Engineered Negligible Senescence. They're really working on things that can give us more than 3 years, more than 7 years. If we can get 1 year every year, we reach longevity escape velocity. If we can rejuvenate 1 year of aging every year, then you're just going to die of accident, statistically at about the age of 600. That's a good deal. That's better. And it's inevitable. This will occur. It's just a question of whether your ass will be alive to see it or not. This will fucking happen, you know. But whether you're here to see it or not is the question. And that's the real goal. And so after Hex, it's Scivive, like survive through science, try and make the movement more popular. And then it's Save Your Assets Fund, which is really save your ass. So if you can buy a green fund that makes you rich while being green, why can't you buy a fund that saves your ass and invest in medicine that might save you? You, not all this other weird shit you're not going to get. You, right? Should exist, right? You should be able to get rich investing in medical technology that just might fucking save your life. That fund needs to exist. Now, I've been told that there are some people, like there's a girl named Laura Deming that has a fund called the Longevity Fund, and she's on Peter Thiel's, you know, squad, and Peter Thiel's a badass. So maybe look into what she's doing, right? So maybe in addition to sense.org, maybe longevity.org, I think it is. You can look her up, Laura Deming. Maybe her shit's great too. I think there's two other funds out there. So I might not have to start the Save Your Assets Fund. And then there's more to just doing VC in that way. You could also do synthetic biology startups like my friend Bill Liao has done with Rebel Bio, which was previously called Symbio. And they're based in Cork, Ireland, and they have a synthetic biology accelerator. So we've got startups in the space, we've got larger investments, we've got VC stuff, and it would be nice to have the governments invest properly. Investing in medical rejuvenation technology is superior to curing cancer. If you cure cancer, you only get 3 years, period. That's the fucking facts. If you cure heart disease, you get 3 years, period. That's the facts. The people that make these facts make billions of dollars a year. They're insurance companies. They know exactly when a person like you is going to die, and that's how they know how much to charge your ass. And so when you look at the actuarial tables that they use to generate that profit, You just go down to the one called increase in life expectancy by elimination of cause of death. And you can just scratch off whatever cause of death you want and see how much longer the average person will live, at least in the West. In other countries, obviously, their stats are different. Get hit by a bus there, get some other terrible disease. I'm talking about people in the West. So donate to SENS, check out Laura Deming's longevity fund, learn how to fix meat. And if you can't learn how to fix meat, invest in other people to do so, or you'll be a real sad bitch when you watch everyone you love die. My grandparents died, I didn't do anything for them. My dog died, I didn't do anything for her. Soon it'll be me, soon it'll be everyone else I love. Let's fight the Grim Reaper while we can on our feet, instead of pretending that shit's not coming and watching sports or fucking jerking off all day long or whatever fuckery you're involved in. There's a war being fought and you can be part of it instead of being a pussy and try and, then when that day comes, you're fucking prepared for it. In the Three Little Pigs story, I want to be the fucker in the brick house. And when some pathology comes to fucking ruin my life, I'd like to be able to fight it. And